Hi, Fred Davies again with The Wholesome Life. And today's focus is going to be on blood sugar control, high, low blood sugar, either one, low or high. And if you have this problem already, then you'll be very interested. Maybe you have a loved one that has this challenge and wants to have some help in knowing how to completely correct the organs that control the blood sugar in the body, because that makes a huge difference on how healthy we are throughout our life. Let's talk about some of the symptoms first of blood sugar low or high. Low blood sugar can have symptoms such as a headache, difficulty concentrating, hunger, trembling of the hands and whole body, a fast heartbeat, anxiety or irritability, slurred speech, and if it gets bad enough, it can go to unconsciousness and seizures. Well, before I moved to high blood sugars, I can tell you that I suffered from extremely low blood sugar for 13 years. I had a problem even in my teenage years, but for my 20s and early 30s, I was hungry all the time. I ate every 2 hours. I was still hungry all the time. My blood sugars were low and they stayed low. My wife and children saw the worst side of me as I was irritable, and I tried. I ate very carefully. I knew that sugars made it worse, but my pancreas just didn't provide the glycogen needed, and so I stayed hungry. I'm not telling you this to tell you to follow my plan or that I have a single or one solution. I'm sharing so that you know that I've had to research and learn what systems are involved, and so that you can learn what systems are involved and correct that. Let's talk about high blood sugar for a minute. Hyperglycemia, or some people have been diagnosed with diabetes. Also, possibly a headache, a dry mouth, increased thirst and frequent urination are sometimes some of the symptoms. Weakness, fatigue, fruity smelling breath, nausea. And you know that long-term high blood sugar that's been out of control for a long time can actually cause blindness and neuropathy, so that the extremities, the hands and feet, are tingling and maybe you can't feel them at all. So they're pretty serious issues, in addition to causing problems with neurological systems, brain, and everything else. The wonderful news is that this is all correctable. It is very correctable. So let's take a look at the systems and the things that need to be done. First, we want to look at the electrical system, the basic functioning of whether the body is having the electrical system on the pancreas and the other things that are needed there. We're going to do a real quick reminder here as a basics. Is the energy flowing forward? That's the first question, so that you can muscle test correctly. If not, remember the yoga pose where you cross your legs, standing up, and hold your hands out in front of you with your thumbs down and tie all of those pieces together by having your chin resting on it and zero out your energy for 60 seconds. That's so you can muscle test properly. And then test. All of my functions are online. We're going to go through the few organs that are absolutely critical for blood sugar regulations, but you need to have all your functions online. And then we'll test specifically. My pancreas is online and so forth. If it's offline, you're going to clear the blocks or the hidden blocks and reset it. And we'll go through that in just a moment, and then test if support is needed. So we'll go through those three processes or systems here in just a moment. But first, I want to take a look at a question that asks, what part does food and drink play in blood sugar levels? Wow, that's a great question. It does play a huge part, as evidenced by the amount of books that are written on it. There are so many books written on the 31-day diabetes cure, how I cured my type 2 diabetes in 30 days, the 28-day blood sugar miracle, reversing diabetes in 30 days, the diabetes diet, goodbye pills and needles. I mean, and that's just a handful of the ones that you can find. If you have blood sugar issues, it's probably worth at least understanding the principles that control the blood sugar with diet and nutrition. But that is not the only thing it takes to cure or to restore to normal balance your blood sugar. So let's talk about the very first thing and the process of how it works. So how does the process work for the body to maintain proper blood sugar? There's actually several pieces that come to work here. The pancreas has a lot of things, and that's what we usually think of as the only thing that controls your blood sugar. But the liver has a key part in that. So let's say you just ate a meal, and that meal had lots of things that convert to real fast sugar, like pasta or bread, or maybe it wasn't a meal, maybe it was a snack, donuts and candy, or a soda or something like that. If your pancreas is working correctly, it produces insulin, enough insulin, so that that insulin stimulates the glucose uptake by the body cells, and also tells your liver to store glucose as glycogen ready for later needs. This balances out your blood sugar to normal levels, and the pancreas stops producing insulin. How about on the other hand, when your blood sugar drops below needed levels, the pancreas's other function is to release glucagon, which the liver then breaks down into glycogen, and your liver stores glucose and raises the blood sugar to normal. And it releases that glucose into the blood to raise your blood sugar. So you can see how the pancreas and the liver work together to balance the blood sugar. If an individual like me has a weak pancreas and one of those functions is not working, or if we've eaten way too much sugar on a regular basis and wore out the capacity of the pancreas, then we have problems. Also, if your liver is weak and unable to store and release glycogen when needed, we also have a problem. Both these functions must be working fully. I had problems with both my pancreas and with my liver, and both of them didn't work properly because my grandmother on my father's side and my grandfather on my mother's side both had sugar problems. One had low blood sugar, the other one had high blood sugar, and I got slammed. So both those functions, pancreas and liver, were not working properly. Before we talk about support needed for the liver and the pancreas, we want to make sure we go through, as a reminder, on how to check for if those functions are online and if support is needed, and how to restore or remove blocks and restore them to be online. You can ask the question, I have blocks in my pancreas. If the answer is yes, then you simply clear the blocks from my pancreas. I have blocks in my liver. As a simple muscle test, I have blocks in my liver. And you can clear the blocks from my liver if that's a yes. After you've asked, I can clear the blocks now, or maybe you can just clear them. Then we need to ensure the pancreas is online and reset my pancreas. My liver is online and resetting my liver. Real simple stuff. You remember how to do it. You do it all the time. Just wanted to remind you that it needs to be done. Then we check for support needed. Your pancreas actually has three main functions that are all needed for your best wellness. And we've talked about how insulin raises your blood, or I'm sorry, lowers your blood sugar, and glycogen raises your blood sugar. We've also talked about how the liver stores glucose, glycogen, to facilitate balancing out the sugar throughout the day. The pancreas's third function is it produces pancreatic enzymes for digestion. Those are released into the very beginning of your small intestine as the food moves into the small intestine to change that to very alkaline again. And it's also critical for proper digestion. So all three of those functions of your liver need to be working properly for everything to work properly. Dr. Christopher's pancreas formula is very valuable in restoring the pancreas to full function. And you can check, I need Dr. Christopher's pancreas formula. Now that comes in three options. It comes in capsules or in a liquid format, or it also comes in bulk powder. I use the bulk powder because I don't like swallowing capsules and because it's more cost effective. But that is all up to you. The glandular system formula in capsules may also be needed. The Dr. Christopher's pancreas formula is cedar berries, the one stone variety, Juniperus monosperma, and that's in 16 parts cedar berries and 1 part of each of just 5 other things. Those are Uva ursa, which is known to help clean out our urinary tract, and in this case, it helps clean out any calcification or problems with the pancreas working properly. It has licorice root in it, which helps to balance out the adrenals also, but it's also very nutritive. Mullein leaf, which is part of the glandular formula, cayenne pepper to stimulate it, and golden seal to fight any infection and help with the healing process. And it works wonderfully to clean out and rebuild the pancreas. I mentioned my 13-year bout with extremely low blood sugar. Within just a week or two of starting to take the pancreas formula, and this is 24 years ago, I felt a huge difference. I wasn't hungry all the time anymore. My blood sugar levels had smoothed out in just a few weeks. It really does work. Well, now, 24 years later, I eat only at meal times. I'm not hungry all the time. I can fast for a whole day without even noticing it. I feel well. I hear some people asking the question, I get that it works for low blood sugar and it worked for you, but I have high blood sugar. What about somebody that's born with diabetes? Well, remember, your body has all the tools you need to make this work for you. You can actually get everything done for you that you need done with your muscle testing and asking the questions, what do I need to rebuild? So let's look at how to support the liver. You've asked the question, my liver needs support. Did you know that your liver does hundreds and hundreds, some people say 500 different chemical detoxification processes? That's a topic for another time, but the liver really is a very, very busy organ. The one function tied to blood sugar regulation that we've talked about can have several things that can support it. The first one that you might want to check for is, I need milk thistle seed. Dr. Christopher's liver and gallbladder formula also is extremely valuable in cleaning out and rebuilding the liver. So you can test for, I need Dr. Christopher's liver and gallbladder formula. That comes in capsules, in liquid, and again, also in bulk powder, but the bulk powder is called Barberry LG instead of liver and gallbladder formula. Barberry LG, liver and gallbladder. There are other options for strengthening the liver. A hot castor oil fomentation on the lower right side of the stomach area is very valuable in stimulating and repairing the liver. That's a cloth soaked in castor oil, and you can heat it up, or you can just put a really hot cloth over it, or a heating pad over it, and keep that on for about 20 minutes every night, and it works extremely well. We have good experience with that one. One of the other things that stimulates the liver to work properly and cleans it out and rebuilds it is dandelion root and chicory root tea. Those are both roots, so that's a tea that's made from both of those roots that have been ground or chopped fine and then roasted and 20 minutes simmered to create a really strong tea out of them. Some people say it tastes like coffee and really like that as a liver tonic. So one thing we've found, if your liver is working right and your pancreas is working right now, but maybe over time, with the pancreas working very low, the adrenal gland had to pick up a lot of the function and tried to help out. So sometimes the adrenal is wore out about the same time the pancreas is wore out. So you need adrenal support. It's worth checking for. Test to see if your adrenals also need support. If that's a yes, here's some of the options. Dr. Christopher's adrenal formula, which is also available in bulk, called adrenatone powder. Kava kava as a single plant is a very valuable source to support your adrenals and helps a ton with balancing them out, with anxiety, with energy. The adaptogen plants, those that help because they help when our body is under stress, that are specific to the adrenals, are American ginseng, ashwagandha, Asian ginseng, cordyceps, eleuthero, holy basil, licorice, rhodiola, and schizandra. You can test for those and see if any of those adaptogen plants are needed by your body. Well, I hope you've learned something about how low and high blood sugar works, maybe for yourself, maybe for a loved one, and how you can restore your body to full function if you have low or high blood sugar.